Hello everyone and welcome to CS Knits. I am Chandra, your host. I am on Ravelry and all those types of things. I don't have like an attached group or anything. Today is February 27th, 2015. It is almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I decided to record this partly because my husband went to go help some friends hook up a computer system. I have my goodies here. I've been waiting for a good time for it to be kind of calm in here to go ahead and record. You might at one point hear a buzzer go off if the mail lady shows up. I'll try not to stop or do anything. She usually just comes in, puts the mail down, and then leaves. So, let's get started. Today is a fancy day. We've had a lot of sun here. I live in eastern Washington, in case you guys didn't know that, literally 2 blocks away from the Idaho border. It's been basically 45 sunny the last, 2 weeks. Yesterday it was very gloomy, very gross. It snowed huge snowflakes for about an hour, and then it stopped. Snow is gone, there's no trace of that. It's bright and sunny again today, and 42 I think right now. So we're back to the sunny right now, which I'm completely okay with. I'm so ready for spring. And it seems like when it is sunny, I feel the need to go through the house and open all the windows and everything like that. I don't know. I just feel the need to because it's just so close to spring, it feels like, and when it's sunny, it just gets me that much more excited because spring means closer to baby. But I don't know if that's supposed to be exciting or if I just want to keep him nestled in my belly for a lot longer. So this is a knitting podcast. I don't do spinning. I don't do dyeing. Although I have been kind of looking into, just for funsies, getting some of that like Knit Picks Bear yarn and some sugar-free Kool-Aid and trying to dye myself a skein just to see what happens, because it sounds like it'd be kind of fun. I don't do crochet. I don't do any of that. I'm basically just a knitter, and I've been knitting for we got married in 2013. Probably 3 years, I guess now. I don't really venture out and do crazy things yet. I just got into socks not too long ago, lace, that kind of stuff. So I'm still somewhat new as far as I don't venture far beyond. I haven't done like color work or anything like that. I haven't done interlac. There's a lot of things I haven't done or haven't tried. I do have an itching to cast on a sweater. Yesterday really put the itching there. I have the Miranda. I have the Miranda pattern, and I have yarn and stuff for it. I'm just nervous to start it, but I really want to. So maybe one of these days when I get caught up on the 2 projects I have going. Well, one project I have going and the one that I have a deadline for still, which is baby's due date. But we'll see. Maybe by next winter I'll have myself a sweater. My concern is that if I cast it on, I won't get to finish it by the time baby does get here, and then it'll just get put on the back burner. Because the other thing is, with our business, I'll get into this more in the personal section, but with our business, everything kind of starts to pick up from here on out, so that kind of will interfere with that. So hopefully, I usually try and pick like decently easy patterns and projects to do while it is a busy season. That way, if I have to set it down because the phone is ringing or somebody comes in, it's not hard to pick back up and just keep going to find where you are, which is important. So let's get right into it. First things first, I do have a project out of the bag. I was so close with it, and this is why I didn't record. I was going to record on Tuesday because I had my goodies then, but I decided that I wasn't going to because I really wanted to finish this so that it could be shown and be done with and everything like that. So This is the zigzag blanket. Let me give you information first. The pattern is by Frankie Brown. If you haven't looked up her stuff, she's the one that does like all the different 10-stitch stuff. She's got like a 10-stitch swirl blanket. I don't know if it's called swirl or if it's called circle. I don't know. She's got the swirl blanket, the zigzag blanket, the straight 10-stitch. I'm sure there are others. They're all free. She does have like a thing where you can like donate to a certain charity that she has listed. So that's what she asks for as compensation for her patterns. But they are free. I did this out of Red Heart, just Red Heart's regular yarn in the Banana Berry colorway. I used 3 3/4 of a skein of three full skeins and then 3/4 of a skein. So 3 3/4 skeins on this project. I was gonna do a full 4. At first, when I started, I was getting 4 full strips. Let's see if I can show you. So this would be a strip going down, and then this one here next to it would be a strip going down here. And I was getting 4 full ones out of the first 2 skeins I used, and then I must have tightened my stitch or something, or I don't know what I did, but I ended up starting to get still close to 4, but I was having like this much left over where I'd have to change. So I basically, with the 3rd skein, I basically got three sections. So this 1, 2, 3 was from the last skein, and not a big deal. So I have a little bit left over, which can help down the road if something goes wrong and I need to patch up a piece. This is a baby blanket. So I did it on size 7 needles. I followed the pattern to a T. It's not super big, it's just literally a baby size blanket. I didn't want one massive because my mom always makes these like fleece tie blankets, and those ones she makes pretty big. But I just wanted something where at tummy time or whatever, I can just put this down on the floor, because we have laminate hardwood stuff throughout our house. So I figured then I can put this down on the floor, and it's acrylic, so it's washable and dryable, and it's not a big deal. To do the blocking on this one, I didn't really want to block it per se, because it's not like fancy or being used for anything fancy schmancy, but all I did was I put it in the washer on hand wash so that it was wet, and then I basically just hung it over a cabinet door so that the weight pulled it down just a little bit. And it already, like before blocking, was an okay size, but I wanted to kind of soften up the yarn a little bit, which it did soften up drastically compared to what it was working with it. It's still not like a cashmere or anything like that, or anything super soft and crazy, but it's fine for its purpose. It's probably going to end up more decorative most times than anything. So that is finally out of the bag and done and processed, and it took me a month to do it. I cast on before we left for Florida, and I did not take it to Florida with us. I think I had 1 full skein done by the time we left for Florida, and I didn't take it with us. We were gone for 2 weeks. So I guess technically I did it in about 2 weeks, full time. And then when we got back, I did cast on some other stuff and work on some other stuff since we've been back, finishing up a different pair of socks and that kind of stuff. It could easily take a person. I was doing basically a strip a day, or trying to do a strip a day. There is 4, 8, 12, 15 strips. So basically, right? Yeah, 15 strips, so it could take you 15 days if you did a strip a day. You could possibly even do 2 strips a day, depending on how much time you have to do it and that kind of stuff. So it could take you 2 weeks to do it. It was a really nice, easy knit. If you use bulkier yarn, it would take you less time. If you use bigger needles, less time, all that kind of stuff. But it was a really nice knit, and it knit up really quick. Directions were easy to follow. The only hard part that I had the first time was when you get to the end of the strip and you cast off and then you turn it. It doesn't say like turn all of your work, it just says then cast on, take that needle, cast on 10 more or 9 more. So then I was like, okay, well, how do I connect it, you know? So I do have a portion where it's the same because I bound off and all that kind of stuff and then redid because I wasn't understanding the directions. But it was fairly easy once I figured out what was happening and just trusted the pattern and used a little bit more brain power than I had originally. I figured it out and then it was fine. So what is in my bag now? We'll start with these because they're there's not a lot going on with them. My dad's socks are on the needles. I just placed the waist yarn for an afterthought heel. I know he likes the fish lips kiss heel because that's what I put on his last pair of socks. But I was doing these in magic loop. As you can see, I am no longer doing them in magic loop. I am doing them on 9-inch circulars. These are chow glue needles. They happen to be at my local Ben Franklin, if you guys know what that is. There's not many of them left in the world, but there is one here. And it's a pretty dang good one, surprisingly. So that was at my local Ben Franklin, and I picked those up to try them. I'll get a little further into detail when we get into topics about that. The other project I have on my needles, and this one I'm going to go ahead and go into a little bit further because this isn't a topic, is my other 10-stitch blanket, which I moved into. If you've seen this, this is what I had my 10-stitch blanket in. I put all my extra sock yarn in here, and this is where I'm keeping my 10-stitch blanket. Last time I showed you it, I was over here. So I went up, over here, and now I'm here. So not a ton of progress has gotten made on it, but a little. This is one of those projects that I don't really see, I mean, it's going to be a long, long time before I'm truly done with this blanket because I'm just going to knit on it until it's the size that I want. And I have got, this is only 1, 2, 3, 4 yarn colors in, and I've got tons of them in here. So this is the one I'm working on right now. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more colors to work with after this one. And I've just put all my sock yarn after I finish a pair of socks. I throw the sock yarn into this little tote, and that will become a part of the sock blanket. And I'm just basically gonna knit on it until I hit the size I want, and it's really only probably about this big now. So it's gonna be in the works for probably years, and that's fine. That was the purpose of it. I knew going in that it was something that wasn't gonna be done overnight, and I was okay with that. It's nice to just have that project in the background where, hey, you know, today I really don't feel like doing that lace one or the sweater or a pair of socks, so I'm just gonna straighten it on that, and it gives you this one is very potato chip knitting once you get it. The only part that I have to look up yet sometimes is the corners, because I don't do them enough now to where I can remember it or memorize it. But it's nice. I have been keeping track of the yarn. I realized that because it's going to be such a long project, that in 5 years I mean, I know the yarns that are in there right now, but that doesn't mean that when I get 20 of them in there, I'm going to remember all of them. So this is what I started doing, just on a index card. I just started writing down, you know, what, I hope that's still recording, what, my computer screen went blank, sorry. What yarn was used next and all that kind of stuff. So right now I am on that CJ Knits yarn. That's who the dyer is. And then it's in the Los Pollos Hermanos colorway. So the next yarn, I'll write that down the next and just keep going. That way I can keep track of everything. And in 30 years when somebody goes, hey, what yarn is that? That looks really familiar. Then I can pull that out and be like, well, that's this one here, you know. That's all that I have been working on. I'm trying to get, the stocks are on a deadline. The deadline is my dad's birthday, which is March 14th, but he won't be getting them until I go down there for the baby shower, which is the weekend of March 20th, which is when I will be going down there. So he will get them then, so I basically have 21 days to work on them. I'm on the ribbing portion right now of the first sock, and he likes a lot of ribbing and likes the ribbing part tall. Thankfully he likes ankle socks. So these will be ankle socks, but it's like 6 inches of ribbing so that he has enough. And then I have to go back to do the afterthought heel. So I've only, maybe this is the 3rd row of ribbing that I just started working on now. So I have a long way to go with the ribbing, but that's okay because the ribbing part is still pretty mindless and not like a super big deal. Every once in a while I just kind of look down to check and make sure that I'm still on point and on the type of stitch that I'm supposed to be on. Okay, next, what's going in the bag? So I've talked about this a couple times. My next project that we'll get done after Dad's socks is matching socks for baby and me. This is Opal's Rainforest collection. I don't know because the yarn is, or the tag is down on the bottom here. It's the one with like the bluish bird on it. Anyways, it's blues and orange. There's like a dark blue, a light blue, and then an orange color. So that's what I'll be starting next. I'm not starting anything until Dad's socks are done. So this will be my travel companion for when I do go down for the baby shower. The other one is the baby hat, which I'm doing in Knit Picks Felici in the Mountain Stream colorway, which is self-striping. It's basically, I showed you it I think on the last one, or the one before. I'm not sure which video I showed it. I've showed it before. It's greens, and then I think it's got like a weirdish blue, like a fadedish tealy blue, I guess. It's a different kind of blue, but there's only the one blue, and then there's like 3 different shades of green. So that's what will be going in the bag. I got goodies. I have knitting goodies. I'll do that after I do the topics. Okay, so the first topic is using 9-inch circulars. This took me a bit. I was talking to so many people on, well, I wasn't talking to them, on a Knit and Chat Facebook page. I think it was the Knit and Chat one, or it was, I'm on like 6 or 7 different knitting Facebook pages, so I'm not sure which page it was on for sure. They were all talking about, I am going to knit a little bit while I'm doing this, which I usually don't, but they were all talking about using 9-inch circulars for socks. And I was like, yeah. I've only used like bigger circulars for hats and that kind of stuff, and I've never used small circulars. But I was like, I'll give it a try, because I know like the last episode I was talking about how my tension changes or my sock turns, so I can't ever it doesn't feel like the heel never lines up perfectly with the toe, and then the toe is kind of twisted half an inch if that, and it's just kind of funky looking, and I want it all in line. So I thought, I'm going to go ahead and just go to Ben Franklin, see if they have 9-inch circulars. I knew that they had the Chagu needles. I didn't know, they really don't have like a lot of needle selection, so I didn't know if they would have the 9-inch circulars in the right size. These are size 1s in 9-inch circulars. I think they're 1. Yep, they're 1. I started my dad's on 1s. I usually use a size 0, but for some reason I was doing his on size 1. I don't know why. But I started his off in Magic Loop, and so the toe and up to about here is that way. Yep. The toe to about here is all done in Magic Loop. And then I just put on the circulars and started doing it in circulars. And then as I was doing them, I thought, well, I can't really, what the heck heel am I going to use for this? So I was like, I'll just try an afterthought heel. Dad likes the fish lips kick heel, but I know how to do the afterthought heel. It's been a while since I've done it, so I just thought, I'll put in waist yarn, I'll keep going, and make sure that everything lines up, and then I'll do the afterthought heel. So I've just put in my waist yarn yesterday at like 9 o'clock, and now I'm just doing the ribbing portion. It took me a little bit to get used to the 9-inch circular, I won't lie. And there are still moments now where I'm like, because your fingers definitely have to sit differently, okay? So when you're holding a regular needle, like the needles are this long, okay? So I hold them like this, and I have my pinky and whatnot still wrapped around the needle. Well, when you're working on a circular, that's the size of your needle on a 9-inch circular. So when I hold it, I hold it like this with my pinky on the back side, and that's what's comfortable for me. I don't know how most people hold theirs, but it's different, and it takes a little bit to get used to because I'm used to having that extra space for my hands. I don't have it. The other thing I noticed, I have a really hard time putting the socks down when I'm on the circular needles because I don't use stitch markers for the round. I just follow where the waist yarn is for the toe. And when I was doing Magic Loop, I would get to a side where I was turning it, and I would be like, okay, I'm done for the night. I'll just pick it up again tomorrow, no big deal. Well, with this, there's not really like a definitive stopping point. So I'm like, oh, just a few more stitches. Oh, just a few more stitches. Then I realize I've done like 2 more whole rows, which isn't bad, but it's like, I can just set it down. It's okay. You can pick it back up. It's different. It's very different to use the 9-inch circulars, and for me it did take a little bit to get used to where my hands were placed, but now it's fine. I'm kind of just used to it. It's only been a few days since I've been doing it on it, but it doesn't seem to bother me. My hands might, if I worked on it long enough, I think my hands would probably start to cramp up. That might be something that I have to look into and see if it does it or not. I don't know. I've only probably worked on it 3 hours at a time in chunks, and then I was basically doing the blanket. So maybe now I'll find out how it really works. So that's topic 1. Topic 2 is indie dyers, which are basically, well, for me an indie dyer is just a person who is just a one-person show. They knit and dye. Jinx yarn is one that comes into my mind that I've bought from CJ Knits. Fiber Nymph, that kind of stuff. Those are all, to me, indie dyers because they're all just one person at-home dyers. I don't know if that's technically what an indie dyer is or the definition of an indie dyer in the knitting world, but that's basically what I consider it. So the topic for it was talking about service, choicing, that kind of stuff because it leads into the knitting, what's knitting new. I am a firm believer in little store people. Knit Picks is wonderful. They have great yarn, but it's just kind of fun to get different stuff from different people and see the differences. I noticed like shipping cost, it's usually pretty decent comparatively to like commercial purchasing. For instance, like this yarn is white birch fibers. Let me grab the tag for her. She's white birch fibers. She has an Etsy store. It's just whitebirchfiberarts.etsy.com, and she's in Vermont. This one is Silly Little Unicorn, and I did socks in these. They have like a cloud stripe, and then they have like a rainbowish type section, and then another cloud looking stripe. I definitely have enough to do a sock, but it's in my sock blanket thing. That's one of the indie dyers that I have. The other one is like Jinx Yarn. I've gotten quite a few things from her. This is her Carnival colorway. I've never had a problem shipping wise. The one thing I do urge you, this is a CJ Knits and Tickle Me Emo. The one thing I urge you to do if you are doing like an indie dyer and you're on a time constraint for getting the yarn is to look and see or communicate with the seller first before purchasing. A lot of them have the skeins ready to go, and that's going to make a difference in your time. And some of them don't. They wait until they get the order and then they dye it. So that is something to look into, because if you have to wait for them to dye it, and they might be waiting for a certain amount of people to purchase it before they dye, it might take you a few weeks to get it. Or if they're on vacation, because a lot of times their shop will come up with a thing on the top that says on vacation until whatever date. So look into that kind of stuff, or communicate with the seller, because they're a one person, most of them are a one person, maybe two person show. And it's not always that easy to just dye one skein of yarn because one person wants it. So that's something to kind of look into and just see what the shipping and that kind of stuff is. I know that was I living in Washington when I ordered? No. I was in Wyoming when I ordered from CJ Knits, and she was in Canada. And this is typical between US and Canada for some reason. It took me, she shipped it right away. Didn't have a problem with that. I think it shipped like the next day or 2 days later. So she shipped very quickly. But it took probably 2 weeks to get it. So that's something to be aware of as far as international shipping, or shipping like that from Canada to the US, because it seems to take a long time. I've never really had to communicate with the seller to say, hey, do you have this available? Do you not have this available? Can I get a bulk order amount out of the same dye lot potentially for a big project? I've never had to do that, but I think that because they understand that most of them are crafting people, why you need it, and they seem to do as much as they can to help service you. And I've heard other people say that, you know, they have wonderful results from personal home dyer people. So I urge you to look into it. I think that, like, cost of yarn, sometimes when you look at it, you might think, man, this is really expensive. It's usually worth it. I've never gotten a yarn from a one person two-person show that I didn't like. The yarn itself is usually amazing. Um, the dyeing stuff, they're usually different than what you're ever going to get from a commercial person. So, like, I ordered 4 skeins of this from Knit Picks. It's the cartoon colorway. And 29 million other people have gotten it. But if you dye from, like, a one-person show, chances are, sure, there'll be other people that get it, but you probably won't see it as commonly. What I did get knitting new is in a hot zone right now, so a lot of people have it. So yeah, just kind of look into it. A lot of times the other thing I noticed is with a one-person, two-person show, you might be able to contact the person and say, hey, I'm looking for potentially getting something with this type of color scheme, self-striping, whatever, and they might try and do it for you. I heard Fiber Nymph on her last podcast talking about how she had a customer contact her to make a custom order. Also, you can get yarns like from, I think it's Abby Grasso, which is like Artistic Yarns by Abby. She has crazy skeins. Like, they knit up to make jack-o'-lanterns in the round, or Easter eggs, or Santa Claus, or snowmen. It's amazing. She's the one that does like fantastic watermelon socks. If you guys have ever seen them, she has an Etsy shop. Definitely look it up. I don't think she ever rarely puts anything, I guess I should say, up for sale. Like, most of them are custom, pre-order kind of thing. But look into her stuff because it's pretty fantastic. There's just a lot of different color variations and dyeing techniques, and you're gonna get some amazing different yarns from local indie one-person show dyers than you will from commercial ones, because commercial ones are all basically going to be the same, and no two skeins are the same when you get them from a single dye shop. And so it's pretty fantastic to see what you get, and it's always exciting to take a look at it and be like, oh my god, and to smell it, because it smells way different when you get it from and I don't know why, but for me it just seems like it smells so much different when you get it from just like a one-person, two-person shop than a commercial yarn. It smells totally different. It smells like natural fibers. So that leads me into what's knitting new. Yikes, I'm at 32 minutes. Okay. That leads me into what's knitting new. This has been like a really hot topic on, I think it's the Knit and Chat Facebook. This lady's store has taken off. I tell you what. First off, she just started doing custom orders. So this is her shop. It's called the Lemonade Shop. She has an Etsy store. It's Lemonade Shop on Etsy.com. She just started doing custom orders. I'm going to suggest to you to do custom orders unless you like the rush of trying to order quickly. She does 2 updates a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. She does them 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So prepare for it, because I tell you what, I finally got these skeins and they were sold out within 4 minutes of her update. So I was up one morning, I'm the one that got up with the dog that morning, and I had taken him out to go potty, and I was like, oh, Lemonade Shop update. So I run in there. I started at 8:56 refreshing the page, and then it started popping up slowly but surely. Within 4 minutes, gone. Everything was gone. So I was like, I scored! This lady is amazing, okay? So this first one is called Bad Day. She has like Bad Day, Stormy Day. Those might be the 2 ones that are kind of like this. The Bad Day one is a darker with the rainbow, and the Stormy Day is a more gray color. So you can see that it's got rainbow pieces in there. And if you look her yarn up on Ravelry, you can see projects that have been done with it, and they give you like a lightning bolt effect on some and cooling effect on others. So I have 2 skeins of that. One of them is going to become a sockhead hat. Oh god, I'm having such a difficult time. So this is a sockhead hat. One of them is going to be that. This pattern calls for 437 yards. I have 438 is what's in her skein. I'm having such a difficult time. Okay, for sure one of them will be a sockhead hat. The other one, I thought about doing a matching willow cowl. It's such a pretty yarn. These two patterns are free on, well, willow cowl is no longer free, actually. I think it just went off with the free, but I saved it many, many moons ago. I go back and forth. Do I want to make a willow cowl? I think it's really pretty. And I'm having a hard time deciding if I really want to make these socks. But then I look at it and I'm like, God, this would just be such a pretty sock. But then it's like, you don't, I mean, do I want to wear that gorgeous yarn as a sock? I don't know. So my other goodie is, it's the same dyer, Lemonade Shop. This one is called Magically Delicious. Every time I think of it, I just think of Lucky Charms. Magically Delicious. The green is kind of muting it out on the camera. It's a lime green. It looks really muted on the camera, but it's a lime green. And it's still got the rainbow stuff. Basically the same. This one is not the sparkle. This one doesn't have stellina in it. It's just superwash and nylon. And the other one is superwash, nylon, and stellina. That one I don't know what I'm making into. Probably for sure socks on that one. I don't know. They're really pretty yarns, so I'm just having a difficult time letting myself go they can be socks, okay? I'm just having a difficult time with that. Because socks just seem so, like, hidden, and they're just kind of yarns where you're like, I just want to show them from the rooftop. I don't know. Call me crazy. But, yep, she does amazing yarns. She has different speckled colors that are always usually up on her shop. She just put a new one up. Maybe a new couple of colorways up. Dang it, I'm dropping stuff. Sorry. So these are the ones I got. Magically Delicious and Bad Day. Like I said, she does have some speckled yarns and that kind of stuff that are up on her shop. She just put 1 or 2 new colorways up today, actually. I just saw her update on Facebook. So look into that. Those ones I think were $26 a skein. So look into that. Like I said, if you're going to do them, I suggest either asking for a custom order of those ones. Both those ones were quick sellers. Or maybe waiting a couple more weeks until it kind of dies down a little bit in her store. Maybe she'll have some actually available for longer than 4 minutes. I don't know. So that's all my knitting information. If you want to skedaddle, I will see you next time. If you want to hang around for the Life in General update, here we go. Alright, there isn't a whole lot new in life. I mean, there is, but there isn't. You know, it's kind of just one of those hangout deals. Grab your knitting. Let's chit chat. What's new? I am 28 weeks, 5 days pregnant. Whoop whoop. I had my 28-week appointment, which also I had to take the glucose test, just the 1-hour one. I thankfully passed it. Got my results yesterday for that, and those came back normal, so I don't have to go back for the 3-hour test. The drink itself, I read on so many things where he's like, oh god, this drink is so horrible. Worst thing I've ever drank in my life. I really didn't think it was that bad. I had the orange one. It reminded me of a diluted Gatorade. Orange Gatorade. So if you like orange Gatorade. I don't even think it was as sweet as like orange pop. I don't really like orange pop. I'll be honest. I'm not an orange pop fan. It was not that sweet. I was expecting, from all of these things that I've read, I was expecting like this. Oh my god, that is so sweet. And syrupy and carbonated. It wasn't that bad. I literally felt like it was diluted Gatorade and not that sweet. I did not fast before mine, which a lot of girls said that they fasted before theirs, so that they were guaranteed to pass it. My concern was that if I did have gestational diabetes, what good would trying to fake out a test do me? I don't want a 10-pound kid, and so I figured I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow the instructions of the doctor. I woke up that morning. I ate a couple granola bars, I think. I had a little bit of coffee, probably this much, and then I drank water. I ended up getting sick on the way there before I drank the test, before I drank the glucose stuff, which I didn't really want to get sick at all because I wanted food in my system, but I was glad I got sick before I drank the stuff, because if you get sick after you drink it, you have to retake the test. So I was glad that I didn't get sick after I took it. I felt fine. So I didn't have anything. I had some left in me. There wasn't a lot left in my system after that. I drank the stuff. You have to sit and wait an hour after you drink it before your blood gets drawn. So we waited about an hour, probably 2 hours after I drank it. My blood sugar crashed. I was shaky. I was not feeling good. I was like, Anthony, I need food now. So we went and got food. I couldn't imagine doing the 3-hour test after thinking about it. Like, my blood pressure, or my blood sugar had crashed so hard that, and you would probably just been getting out, and you're supposed to fast before the 3-hour one, I believe. I don't know. I didn't have to take it, but I think before the 3-hour one, you're supposed to fast, and it would not have been good for me, because I would have crashed while I was still at the clinic. So I'm glad I don't have to take the 3-hour one. I have a friend of mine who is actually due on the same day that I'm due, and she had to take her glucose test yesterday. She took her glucose test. I took mine on Tuesday. She took hers yesterday, and she failed. So she has to go back in for the 3-hour test, which I feel really bad for her. I have another girl that I worked with at the preschool. I don't know about her last 2 pregnancies. I haven't asked her, but the pregnancy that she had when I was working with her, she'd had the baby after we started working together, specifically together. We were in the same classroom. She had gestational diabetes with her, and she had to change, her eating habits and everything. Not that she was unhealthy at all. She was a pretty healthy eater as it was, but she had to modify her diet and things like that. And she had a healthy baby. I mean, I think Kimber was like 7 pounds, 6 or 7 pounds. So she had a healthy baby, but it was kind of just like, it's one of those things where, I didn't personally feel like I ever had crazy blood sugar going on since I've been pregnant. I've actually felt healthier and better being pregnant than I do not being pregnant. I had chronic migraines before I got pregnant and was on daily medication for that, and I actually am not on, knock on wood, I'm not on any medication for it now besides Tylenol for if I just get a headache, and I haven't had any migraines. So that has been fantastic, and I'm hoping that maybe after baby's born, it'll just do enough to where it'll make it so I don't get them anymore. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, I got migraines for a lot. I was on a daily medication for 2 years, 3 years, I think. 3 years. I mean, they were few and far between, but I had, I think, one migraine before I knew I was pregnant. Or was it right after? It might have been right after I found out I was pregnant. I had one migraine, but that was it. All right, so that's all. Oh, now I'm 20. I'm almost 29 weeks, and so my next appointment is another 4-weeker. So I'll be 32 weeks when I go in, and then after that they start the 2 weeks. Then every 2 weeks I go in, and I think they do that until 38 weeks, and then I think you go every week because they start checking you for dilation and such. So, I have 12 weeks to go, almost 11 weeks until due date. I have a feeling that I won't go until after my due date. My due date is the 18th of May, but he measures technically, I think, 4 days under that. So, I'd be like 28 weeks one day today instead of 28.5. But they don't change it because it's less than a week from whatever. So that's that. I started a new class on Monday. I do all my classes online. I am an elementary education major. I went through heck to get to where I am and decide what I wanted to do. And now my husband, I started this program and everything before my husband and I even met. And so it's kind of one of those things where even though I probably won't teach in a classroom until our babies are older, if I do, it's one of those things where I was on the path and on the journey before we got together. So I'm trying to finish the path and journey, and he supports me 100%. I do all my classes online through Grand Canyon University. They're 8-week courses, and I go year round. I just do one class at a time. You can do more once you've proved that you can keep like a steady GPA and whatnot. However, I could probably do 2 courses like in the winter time. In the summertime, things are so crazy here, I wouldn't want to, just because I don't want to get behind or anything like that. And now, I had thought about doing two classes at a time at one point, but it was kind of like every time I think about it, we had something going on. Like we were getting married, and I wasn't going to do it for that. And then we were moving here, and I wasn't going to do it for that. And now there's a baby on the way, and I'm sure as heck not going to take more than one class at a time with that. There's no way. So I'm just doing one class at a time. I have 4 classes left after this one, and then I have 2 units of student teaching. And that starts in basically in a year. It starts in January of 2016, and then I will be done. So I'm slowly but surely getting there. I really enjoy the college. They're really good about communicating and things like that. I do really enjoy the college. So if you are kind of considering or looking at online colleges, even sorry, I dropped some stitches. I pulled funny. A couple ladies that I worked with at the preschool decided to go back for their masters. They went on to GCU and did it. I don't really know where I was going with that. I apologize. Anyways, if you're looking into that, I have found for me personally, the college that I was going to go to, it's basically the same cost. It's a private Christian university. It's basically the same cost as the state university that I was going to go to and go through. The other thing too was the state university that I was going to go through. I had to do some like lab work, and I just couldn't do it because at that point I was living with my husband, and the college was 3 hours away from us, and I wasn't going to be able to just drive for one day a week. Who wants to do that? So I found this one. Everything is online 100%. You do have to do like observations in classrooms, which is, I just go here in town to the school in whatever grade level I need and talk to the teachers there, and they let me come sit in their classrooms and observe. So that's not a big deal. You can do it with whatever school you're comfortable with. If I needed one in a different grade school or whatever, I can do that too. But I think the only thing that's different is some of them are like special ed classes. Some of them are, you have to be in a Title I classroom, which where I'm from, most of them are Title I. So, I don't know if I ever have shared that with you guys, but there's something different about me that you may or may not have known. I am a college student. Business here is slowly picking up. January was our slow month, I guess, which is funny because we were looking at like the records for the previous owners for the motel, and February was actually their slow months. So I'm okay with it picking up. It's different because we at least have like two rooms out a night, which doesn't seem like a lot, but like in January there was a lot of nights where we didn't have any. So we would sit here and it would just be us finding things to do. Calling our poor housekeeper saying, we don't have any rooms for tomorrow. I mean, our January wasn't terrible. We made enough to pay the bills. But it's hard when you know that your workers have families to take care of, and it's not like there's anything that we're doing that doesn't bring people in. It just was dead in winter, and people don't really travel that much in winter, so. What else can I tell you? I think that's just about it for here. Personally, we don't have anything else weird going on. I don't know, everything else is really calm and quiet, really. We just do day-to-day business and hang out a lot, so I have knitting time while I'm doing homework and while I'm doing whatever. And so, yeah. That's all I got. We did put our crib, we bought a crib, put that up. There was a lady that was selling one on like one of those virtual yard sales. It had a mattress and bedding and all that kind of good stuff. And so, we went ahead and got it because it was only, she wanted 125, and we offered her 100 and she said sure. So we bought a crib with bedding and a bedding set and bumpers and all that good stuff for $100. It sat in our room for a couple days, and then I was like, honey, are you bored? And he's like, yeah. And he was just sitting there playing a game on his phone, and I said, well, let's put the crib up. So the crib is up. After I sign off of here, I'm actually going to go put the bedding into the washer. We got quite a bit of bedding from her, so. But I'm going to go ahead and put the bedding in the washer. That way, they're clean, and I can make the bed if I needed to. We're using it as like storage, basically, for all the baby stuff. His pack and play is in there because we're going to put up a pack and play for him, and that's probably what he'll sleep in because the pack and play has a bassinet in it. And so he'll probably sleep in that most every night. I don't know, we'll see. My grandfather, who is no longer with us, it's been quite a while, 14 years since he passed away, but he had made a bassinet, and so when I go down for the baby shower, I'll be picking up the bassinet too. And so he'll have multiple different sleeping areas, so we'll see. My intentions are for him to be in the pack and play next to my side of the bed for probably 4 or 5 months at least. Maybe longer. And so, that's my intentions, and then we'll see what happens when he's first born, because we've had this discussion many times. My husband and I really like to sleep in cold rooms, and basically one of us is going to be out of sleep, because there's no way we're going to be able to keep it as cold as we keep it with the baby. So one of us will probably just have to move out onto the couch, and I have a feeling it will probably end up being me. I mean, Anthony himself has already said, I'll just go sleep on the couch, you know. But I don't really know how much colder that room is going to be, because it's the living room. And we only have the air conditioner in the office, which there's an opening from the office into the kitchen, and then the one in the bedroom. And in the summer, I noticed that we usually end up leaving our bedroom door open so that it can cool down all of this area. And so, I don't know. I didn't think about that, but we'll see what happens, I guess. We have also talked about getting a little portable air conditioner. But one of us is basically going to have to be out in the living room, probably away from the cold source. And I'm thinking that it will probably be me, because it makes more sense for me to be away from the cold source with the baby than deprive him of having a cold source in general. So we'll see what happens. If nothing else, there might be some nights where I pick a motel room and go sleep in it, but usually we're pretty full in the summer, so we'll see. But that's all I've got. So enjoy. It is Friday, so enjoy your weekend. The last day of work, if you are a Monday through Friday worker, enjoy your weekend. Get some knitting in, keep your needles clicking away.